behalf of my group, I offer a warm welcome. You can see we've got a good reception out. Good turn. Anyway, thank you very much for coming.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. It's good to be here, and because this is where the action is. You are the action, and I think it's very important to recognise that. You've already discovered I can't spell, or can't type probably, more accurately. I am the Chief Scientific Advisor to Gulf War Veterans, but he does cook exceedingly good cakes, the kind of day. Can you all hear me at the back? You're getting, because the acoustics are not terribly good. Hello, we've lost it. Come back. Yeah, that's all we wanted. Right, this is it. Okay, so I want to tell you the story, first of all, and it's quite a long one, and I apologise if it's a bit uncomfortable for some of you, but I started with the Gulf War Veterans. That's how I got involved in all this. And the Gulf War Veterans suffered a number of major insults in the chemical medicinal sense. An insult is something that's done to you. Vaccines, they took these nerve agent protection tablets, they were exposed to a lot of pesticides, to nerve agents, to oil and smoke, and to depleted uranium from the depleted uranium munitions that we used. And it was all because of the environment of the desert and the threat of Saddam and his weapons. This was the most toxic war in Western military history. And there's over 40 exposures recognised by the Institute of Medicine in the United States. And recently, some of you will know, there's a big independent inquiry headed by Lord Lloyd, which essentially underwrote the American research and validated everything that some of us have been saying for a long time. You're not meant to take this in detail, but this is just a figure taken from a paper by Garth Nicholson in the States. This just shows the correlation between CFS in the States is always CFS or CFIDS, it's never ME. But it is ME, that's what they're talking about. And you can see here the coincidence of the 30 different symptoms, almost exactly the same in the two groups, with just a couple of major exceptions. So Gulf War syndrome is sometimes called the ME of the military. But it goes beyond that. In addition to the Gulf War veterans which are here, and CFIDS, the other American name for ME, on this table there's the organophosphate poison farmers, people with multiple chemical sensitivity, fibromyalgia, and ME. And you can I just want you to take in at a glance the fact that all these different groups share the same pattern of symptoms, covering a huge range of biological systems and organs. So there's joint pain, fatigue, headaches, memory problems, sleep disturbance, skin problems, problems with concentration, depression, muscle pain, dizziness, gut problems, and things of that nature. So it goes right the way through to light sensitivity. Do you recognise yourself in this list? Yes. Right, okay. But you're like everybody else. And at this end I've put multiple sclerosis, which used to be hysteria, because they're all women, or most of them are women, so all the women have got hysteria. If you're short of a word that's rude to ladies, you've just only got you've been a hysterical woman. And this is just a cop-out. But this is now a well-recognised, well-identified neurological illness with an immunological dysfunction behind it. This is HIV/AIDS, which is a well-known immunological problem. So all the symptoms are the same. They're shared and they're affecting every part of the body. This is the manual, and this is a major reference text for medics. And you can see here that Gulf War syndrome, which is sometimes called the ME of the military. This is really a summary of what I've been saying. They're all interlinked. Gulf War, multiple chemical sensitivity, ME, CFS, FMS, fibromyalgia, organophosphates. They all share a common constellation of symptoms and signs. The difference between a sign and a symptom is a sign a doctor measures and can believe. A symptom is what you tell him you've got, and they don't necessarily believe you. Or they find a different explanation from yours. So this these affect the major nervous systems of the body: autonomic nervous system, which controls functions that go on automatically in our body; peripheral nervous system, arms and legs particularly; CNS, the brain and the spinal cord; cardiovascular problems, heart problems; immune system problems; gastrointestinal problems; respiratory problems; endocrine problems; hormone problems is perhaps a shorthand for that. But it goes beyond hormones in that sense. Thyroid problems we're talking about, problems with stress and cortisol and the stress hormones as well. Now, this is all not new to you, because many of you have got these problems, haven't you? Do you still recognise yourself? Do you recognise this? Considering the extent of the patient's complaints and disability, so they're recognising patients are complaining and they're disabled, they've got a real disability. The results of routine laboratory tests are strikingly normal. So there's nothing wrong with you. Now, I hope you're all aware of that. There's nothing wrong with you because all the tests are normal. And this is the thing that breaks people's hearts, because they know they're not normal. They know they've got a problem, but they are surprisingly normal because they're doing just routine tests. Now, the simple answer to that is, well, why don't you do a non-routine test? Think about the problem and look at the kind of test that you might do. One of those tests might be a thyroid test, which isn't normally routine. Just at that simple level, there are all kinds of problems like that, which have just been avoided by this. You've had the standard battery of tests, they're all normal, you are normal, so what's the matter with you? Well, one answer is, you've got a psychiatric problem. You're somatizing, you're converting your mind activity into a sickness and illness. They don't wrap it up, they wrap it up now. They've got MUPs or PUPs or SSIDCs. Now, do you feel any better? If someone says, oh, you've got MUPs, your problem is you've got MUPs. It means multiple unexplained physical symptoms. So what are they telling you? They're telling you, I haven't got a clue what's going on, I don't understand what's going on, but you've got it. Well, you knew that before you went in. And PUPs is persistent unexplained physical symptoms. And SSIDCs are signs and symptoms of ill-defined conditions, which everybody knows that they've got. They've got the signs and the symptoms, but no one quite knows what's going on. And that's the problem. We don't quite know. But the psychiatric explanation is a quick explanation. It offers an explanation to something that's otherwise inexplicable. And I want to take this on head on, because this, I think, you are being sold down the river by this approach. And I'm very cross about it. This is just an example of what a Gulf War veteran was told. The most telling feature about the illness is primarily psychological. It's been recorded since at least the American Civil War, and a British paper went back to the Crimean War with one person. Not unique to the Gulf conflict, no illness specific to participation in Operation Granby, which was what the Brits and the brigadiers named Desert Storm. He has a psychiatric illness. I hope he will not waste his time, energy, aspirations chasing after non-existent organic explanations. They will never be found. This was a letter from a consultant physician at the Medical Assessment Panel, MAP, to a GP responsible for the care of a Gulf veteran. The Gulf veteran didn't know that the GP had got that letter until he asked for his medical records. So, what sort of collision course are those two set on? The GP doesn't believe him because he's been told. He doesn't understand what's going on with the GP because he's trying to tell him he's ill. So that, I mean, you've all had this, not all of you, but many of you have had this sort of problem. And here we have the Archangel. Now.